Hey, and welcome back to Catholic Chat. My name is Robbie Spangler, and we are trying to bring Catholicism back into the conversation. Today, we're going to talk about the idea of judgment and whether or not we're able to pass judgment on to other people. It's very popular these days to say that I judge no one and no one should judge me, and you have it in social media, in artist songs, on TV, even probably with friends that you meet and stuff like that. They all will say to you, oh, I don't judge anyone, and it's like a bragging right that they have. And I just wanted to point out that if that's the interpretation you're taking out of the Bible, that you probably need to keep reading, because you stopped yourself at about 7 words, and it continues on to say so much more than that. And so I wanted to take the first example of this idea of do not judge comes from Matthew chapter 7, verses 1 to 5. And so you'll see the first line of it says, "Judge not, that you be not judged." So if you were to stop there, you're like, all right, Bible says do not judge, I'm with it, I'm doing well, I'm on the right path. But then you have to continue reading where it says, "For with the judgment you pronounce, you will be judged. And the measure you give will be the measure you get. Why do you see the speck that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log that is in your own eye? Or how can you say to your brother, 'Let me take the speck out of your eye,' when there is a log in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye." And so when we look at the whole passage and what's trying to be said there, it's really a verse that is against hypocrisy. So if I were to struggle with gossiping about other people, but then I see people gossiping and I go over there and I was like, hey, just so you guys know, you really shouldn't do that, I don't have the right to pass that judgment on to them because I haven't fixed it myself. But if I, let's take an example of, pornography, which is a bad thing for anyone to be watching, and say I successfully have eliminated that currently from my life, I am in a little bit more of a moral place to be able to tell people, look, like this is something that it hurts your relationships, it hurts your life, and you really shouldn't do it. And it's coming from a place of love because I myself was able to get past that. And so it's this idea of, it says, don't take the speck out of your brother's eye when there's a log in your own. But then it follows up and it says, once that log is out of your eye, then you should go and try and take the speck out of your brother's eye. So it actually then follows up and says, once you are good in a certain area, you have an obligation to go and make sure that other people can live a better life as well. Just from a place of common sense as well, in order for you to be able to live a pure and a good life, you have to be able to judge whether or not certain actions are right or wrong for you. And so just innate in that, to be able to determine for yourself whether or not things are right and wrong, you are judging. You have to be able to see what they are doing and say, is that something that I should be doing or should I not? And then it's also crucial to think about when we're talking about judgment, we're talking about judging actions. We're not talking about like the ultimate judgment of a person. You can never say that so-and-so is going to hell or so-and-so is even going to heaven. We don't know. We don't know what that ultimate judgment is. But what we are able to do is say the actions that you are currently doing do not lead you to a holier life, do not lead you towards Christ. And those are things that are, you are able to do because Jesus and all the disciples, they outlined a lot of things that we can do in order to be closer to God. So another instance I wanted to talk about has that idea of actually having an obligation to talk to someone that is doing things wrong. You have in Matthew chapter 18, verses 15 to 17, it says, "Go and tell him his fault between you and him alone. If he listens to you, you have gained your brother. But if he does not listen, take 1 or 2 others along with you, that every word may be confirmed by the evidence of 2 or 3 witnesses. If he refuses to listen to them, tell it to the church. If he refuses to listen even to the church, let him be to you as a Gentile and a tax collector." And so in this verse of Matthew, you have the example of the obligation to go to your brother, to your sister, to your friend and say, hey, what you're doing is not right. And if they can't come to terms with that, if you guys can't see eye to eye, then you're supposed to bring 2 or 3 people. And then if that doesn't work, then you're even supposed to bring it to the church. Another great advocacy for one true church, one church that you bring it to, because there's one church that is able to give the same type of ruling in every situation. So that's just another great example of having an obligation to judge. So we live in this world where it's like, I haven't judged anyone, I don't judge anyone, and I think that you are interpreting the scriptures incorrectly. Another really important thing to look into is the Catechism of the Catholic Church, which states that in lines 2477 to 2478, every good Christian ought to be more ready to give a favorable interpretation to another's statement than to condemn it. But if he cannot do so, let him ask how the other understands it, and if the latter understands it badly, let the former correct him with love. If that does not suffice, let the Christian try all suitable ways to bring the other to a correct interpretation, so that he may be saved. And so we have this desire and this goal to bring others into heaven with us. And so if you see someone that is not behaving correctly and you just let it go, then you are failing at your obligation to help your fellow brothers and sisters to find Christ and to bring them into the church and to bring them into salvation. And so that's said there, and I'd really like to point out that it says to do it all in love. And so everything that we do is out of love, even though sometimes it doesn't look like it, because they will immediately attack and say that you're judging me and that you're attacking me. And so it's really hard to do. I do highly encourage that you must first establish a friendship and a relationship with that person before any of these types of things will probably take effect. But it still doesn't prevent us from having an obligation to do it. So with that, I guess I will just leave us with this thought on what are the areas in your life where you currently still have that log in your eye. And whatever that may be, I highly encourage, go and find a close friend, confidant, family member, and tell them about it, and have a deep discussion around what it is, why it is that you're struggling with that, and have them hold you accountable to fixing those things. And this will be a really great way for you to be able to eliminate one of your vices so that you can then be able to pass better judgment onto others, so that you can see it with a clearer eye, the things that are going on in your life. With that, I will say, if you like these videos, subscribe and hit that like button. If you want to support our cause, please visit us at catholicchatt.org and subscribe for $10 a month to support Catholic initiatives across Tennessee and the southern area. So thank you, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.